right, welcome on in to another episode of Oh So Curious, DCU Daily on Oh So Curious. Of course, we've got a lot to talk about. It is a brand new week, and with that, we'll get into the first show of the week. And on today's show, we've got to talk about Zootopia 2's record-shattering opening weekend at the box office. It blew the doors away, not only at North America's, movie theaters, but for some reason, the folks in China absolutely just blew the doors off of their theaters just going to see Zootopia 2. So we'll talk about that. We'll get into how it all happened, every record that the movie broke this past weekend. Disney making a real comeback towards the end of the year at the box office. Of course, we have to talk about Warner Brothers Discovery. The second round of bids were due today, and it looks like Netflix might have the standout offer in this round. But ladies and gentlemen, the fight is not over yet. The ride ain't over yet, apparently. So we'll get into that and so much more. And of course, DC stuff along the way. You got James Gunn talking about all kinds of things, from what he's thankful for over this past Thanksgiving weekend to the DCU Batman, what he gets requested the most in terms of like the traits that the DCU Batman should have, whether it's something to do with the costume or other traits of the character, as well as talking about Supergirl. We're going to get into a reported budget that was making the rounds for Supergirl and what James Gunn had to say about that, and so much more. To do that, guys and gals, and anybody watching today, let's hit that news intro and we'll get the show started.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always the number two.
All right, mister, I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding. You're kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne. I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much.
Oh, wow! Wow!
All right, okay, welcome on into the show. We also have to talk about the TMNT and Sonic spin-off movies, both getting release dates, I should say, from Paramount. And of course, we have got a bunch of other quick hits. Justin Lin, one of the directors of the Fast and Furious franchise, has got himself a new video game franchise that he's going to be directing. And of course, God of War. We now know there's a pretty big name, in addition to, of course, Ronald D. Moore being the showrunner. We've got a high-profile director coming in to direct a few episodes, some Harry Potter updates. There's a new casino going up in New York, and we have a surprising addition to the Oxford Dictionary, as their word of the year. So we'll get into that and so much more. It's going to be a wacky, fun time, as it usually is on the show. I'm hosting for the first time in a long time, so I might be a little bit rusty, but I'm sure John's going to pick me up when I fall down. So to do that and so much more with me, I've got, of course, John.
I don't know. I'm kind of halfway there to sleep anyway, so we'll try to get through it. Also, reading the news, I'm not in the best of moods now, but we'll get there when we get there. So,
Hey, we will. Well, we got Monique in the chat first saying Marvelous Monday to all. Hello, Monique. She was also saying Disney were the winners this year. Lilo and Stitch and Zootopia 2 printing presses. Well, it's not over yet. The ride ain't over yet because they got Avatar coming soon as well. Enterprising is here. Hello, folks. Enterprising, yes. We will get into the TMNT reboot. I don't know if you meant to say waste in that particular way, but I know what you mean. Yeah, what happened to the glasses, John?
Yeah, I didn't feel like wearing them. My head was starting to hurt, so I was like, actually, I don't know where I put my glasses. Where did I put my glasses? I don't know. It's fine. We'll find them eventually.
All right. Well, let's keep on going. Dark Elite Eric is here. Hello, Dark Elite Eric. That's the heart emoji in writing. Okay. All right. Well, the first big story in my eye is like, doing weird things. Oh my god. Okay.
I actually don't know where my glove. Oh, they're there. Okay.
There we go. Okay.
Right. I was like, wait.
Sometimes they make a difference, sometimes they don't. All right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna kick things off by talking about, of course, the biggest movie of the weekend. It's now become the highest opening for any animated movie ever, and it's the fourth highest opening of all time in general. Like fourth highest opening, like we're talking in that category, Avengers Endgame, right? For example, Star Wars, I think it was the Force Awakens. Like you've got movies like that have Avengers Infinity War, like that have had the highest opening weekends of all time. Zootopia 2 broke the record as the biggest animated film opening of all time, John. So that's where we start, but you know, it keeps on getting better because let's dive into the numbers. If you can go to the next article. We got to talk about how Zootopia 2 not only scored, you know, the highest opening weekend for an animation movie, which blew my mind. It made $500 million in just 5 days alone. It's now the fourth biggest global debut in box office history, John, and that includes 272 million in China alone. That number, by the way, I believe the 556 million number went up. Let's keep on going because I'm just gonna cycle through some more headlines. Everybody talking about it. 556 million 5-day global box office opening from The Wrap, and then if you go further along to the Hollywood Reporter, they gave us, you know, the similar tally, basically telling us 272 of that came from China alone. So let's stop here for a moment, John. I want to ask you, that's pretty much half of the opening weekend. That number from China is bigger than the number in the US. I believe the North American box office gave it a 156, 158 million, more or less. So well over 100 million plus, you know, on top of that is what China was able to provide. This is almost unheard of. It's the biggest Hollywood haul in years from the Chinese market. How do you explain like Zootopia being able to do something like this where, I don't know, the Fast and the Furious franchise, Jurassic World, even the Avengers movies, like this is the biggest opening in China for any movie since, I think, Avengers Endgame. And it's been one wacky 4 or 5 years since that time. Obviously the world has changed a lot. So what does this mean? Like, I don't know. What's your take? What does this mean for Hollywood movies in China? What does it mean for Disney and Zootopia 2 and a Zootopia 3 maybe? Like, where are we headed with this?
Well, we were wrong because it seems like China might still be interested in what there is in Hollywood because everyone was like, after like so many superhero movies failed, it's like, well, I guess China doesn't really want American movies anymore. Well, clearly not, because we're getting this box office breaking record movie with Zootopia 2. Maybe just because it's an animated film and you know, it's anthropomorphic animals. They don't, you know, there isn't like some kind of like, it doesn't represent anything. Like you could make the argument like the superheroes are very like an Americanized type of thing and they don't want to fuck with that. I don't know, but like it could be that. Maybe it's just like Zootopia 2 is just that good that it's just like China's just like, all right, bet, let's fucking go to the movies for this one. And so they really just came through with this one. And you know, I'm curious because China also loves the Avatar movies, so we're gonna see if they're gonna double up with that. So I don't know. It's just crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I thought they were done. I thought they were done with us, which is like they're gonna double down on their own shit because, you know, look at Najat 2, which like was exploded over there allegedly, and then it bombed over here. So, well, not really, but it made like $50 million, which isn't like too bad, but like it's still not even close to, you know, 2 billion over there alone. So I'm intrigued with how all of this will go, like
Yeah.
in terms of Hollywood's touch and impact on the
Yeah.
Chinese box office.
Well, here's the thing though. I don't know how well this is going to translate to other movies from Hollywood.
Right.
I mean, look, you can maybe, I have no idea how, this is a total speculation almost. I don't know how this ties into Najat 2 being one of the biggest hits in China in recent memory, if not the biggest, because Like China, they love that animated movie. Maybe they're like they want to do let's go see this one too. Because when you but you go back and you look at what the first Zootopia movie did in China, that one had a modest opening of $22 million in its opening weekend for China, and then it just ran up the numbers and finished out with 236 million in China. That's like over 10xing your opening weekend in China, and that's the first Zootopia that came out nearly 10 years ago in 2016. But when you look at the numbers it's doing now, Zootopia 2, it's only behind Avengers Endgame's $330.5 million opening weekend. That's how, like, granted, that's a gap of almost $60 million to the $272 million that Zootopia 2 did. But, I mean, that's still a damn near, Avengers Endgame number. That is huge. Only Marvel has achieved, I mean, obviously still under Disney, but, like, it's been a while, like we talked about. Like, for example, this year, the next highest earning movie in China, and I'm not talking just opening weekend, because right now we're just looking at opening weekend numbers for Zootopia 2. The next highest total any movie has done in China was Jurassic World Rebirth, and they made 79 million. That's, what is that? Like, that is less than 1/3 of the amount of money Zootopia 2 just made in 5 days alone. This is ridiculous to think about. We talked about Superman making like not even 15 million, and they took it out of Chinese theaters pretty quickly. Like, and they had James Gunn and Peter Safran fly out to China to promote the movie. So I don't know what if this means that every other movie that Hollywood puts out in China is all of a sudden going to get that boost. But certainly for Zootopia 2, you look at how well the first one did and ran up the numbers. John, remember we talked about it last week. They were predicting this movie was going to finish out around 340 or so million in China in its final tally. But that was when they weren't anticipating 272 million at the opening weekend alone. Yeah. Even then, they were looking at the highest, maybe it was like 200 some odd million. But like not 272.
I remember one of the projections was like 450. Yeah. Like around
450.
There.
I mean, with 450, even like that's doubling the number. Like they were expecting 220, 225. It's over indexed at 272. And now, according to the current projections from Maoyan, which is like their version of I guess you could say the ComScore, like they're just they predict how much a movie is going to make at the box office. That number has gone up now from that 450 to $590 million. That's 4.2 billion RMB, the local Chinese currency. So $590 million from just China alone. Now, if you move on to the next article here, John, then we add up the numbers from North America, where it's already picked up another $158 million for a record-smashing $560 million opening. By the way, hello, Right Dude, and hello, Figure Drawing, everybody else in the chat. Thanks for stopping in. But yeah, when you add up these numbers, John, I gotta imagine that this being a 4-quadrant family film, Zootopia 2 with the totals in North America that are probably gonna, it started at 158 million. It's probably gonna do 2 to 2.5x that number, and that looks to be, let's just do a rough math, 450 to 500 million. Another 590, maybe even higher, considering how much China loves this movie. That right there alone is $1 billion. And then you account for the rest of the world, where pretty much every market minus the UK, it opened at number 1. In the UK, Wicked for Good was still number 1. Do you think this movie now has that clear path to become the highest grossing animated movie of all time? And again, in that conversation, we're not going to count Ne Zha 2, because I still don't know how valid the $2.2 billion it made actually is. But then again, I mean, if the Chinese audiences are showing up for something like this to the tune of 272 million, maybe they did actually show up to the tune of 2.2 billion for Ne Zha 2. But the worldwide record right now for the highest grossing animated movie is Inside Out 2 from last year. Pretty much a year ago in the same window, roughly. Do you think Zootopia 2 can beat that number, like go above that 1.7 billion that Inside Out 2 made?
I don't know. I think it'll maybe just barely get 1 billion. I don't think it'll be as high as Inside Out 2, but again, I could be wrong on that. It could bleed into like the Christmas season and all that. So, I mean, I think at the most part, it'll be like 1.5. I don't think it'll quite reach Inside Out 2, but I think it'll be close. Maybe 1.5, maybe if we're being nice, 1.6. But I could see it, definitely getting $1 billion and then like reaching that midpoint, but not quite reaching the record of Inside Out 2.
Yeah.
So
I'm look, right now I'm keeping my options open. I'm gonna say that it's a 50-50 chance, which is a lot better than anything I would have given it a couple of weeks ago. But it is the breakout hit of the year. And the other thing that I'm thinking about now is if this movie is doing as well in China, Avatar has always done really well in China. I can only imagine like if Disney's like looking at the numbers now and thinking maybe Avatar is gonna do really well, because just an opening weekend alone, China overperformed, almost doubling the number in North America. I wonder, because like if Avatar opens to 110 million in the North American markets, can China give it a boost of another 220, 240 in opening weekend alone? And that'll be around Christmas time. So it's another like holiday weekend extended release, window. So yeah, this is one hell of a comeback for Disney at the box office, where, they started off the year with a bunch of duds and, underperforming movies, and then just have never quite hit their stride. But they knew they had some special stuff coming out at the end of the year. They also, I was reading somewhere, they were talking about how Disney has these numbers from the, obviously they have all these franchises, like, with merchandise and everything in their theme parks and stuff. So they know, like, for example, with like Zootopia, how popular it is with Disney fans to go to, Disney parks and stuff like that. But also Disney Plus, like they don't share, like they don't, like Netflix has these charts, like, what show's charting on Netflix or what movie is in the top 10. Disney Plus doesn't quite share that information, but according to some insiders, like they have been seeing Zootopia be in the top 10 pretty consistently for the last 10 years since the movie came out. So they knew something that was really special about this franchise, which is why it got a sequel. And that's why also I think Coco is getting a sequel, and you got a couple other movies like that, like Incredibles, obviously. These movies have had these lasting power, and not only, with all the Disney theme parks and attractions like that, but also on Disney Plus, which has the second highest subscription base outside of Netflix. So yeah, that again, when you dig into it, it starts to become more and more obvious why Zootopia 2 has been as popular as it is. And like, even though it's not necessarily like a revolutionarily better movie than the first one, it's an improvement, or at the very least on par with the first one. But clearly, the built-in audiences wanted to go see the sequel after being enchanted by the first one for the last 10 years. But John, let's keep on going, because we have a few more pieces of information to share about this movie. This article in Zootopia, sorry, not Zootopia, it might as well be Zootopia because it's Zootopia's world and we're living in it. But Deadline was talking about how the marketing push for Zootopia 2 was powered by a campaign that included brands like Volkswagen, McDonald's, and they spent over $215 million marketing it, John. So when you look at that, and the budget of this movie probably between 150 to 200 million, they've already made that money back. Like it's crazy to think that they've already made pretty much most of that money back. And yeah, I mean, here's the thing to what you're to your point, Figure Drawing. Yeah, people do say they want fresh new IP, and Zootopia was a fresh new IP in 2016. But when something hits as well as that first movie did, to a tune of $1 billion, a sequel could also hit
for
really
almost
well.
a decade. They've been waiting for a sequel for almost a decade, so that certainly helps.
And you know what? Honestly, this has been a great year for original IP. Like Sinners, gonna probably pick up a few trophies at the Oscars and across the award season. You've had so many other movies, like even Weapons, like, the movies that didn't make, close to $1 billion or like 500 million, even they did really well. So we have had a pretty good year. I mean, but at the same time, Hollywood is just a balance of making original movies and then making sequels and spin-offs. And unfortunately, not a lot of people go to see the original movies. There'll be more of them, even more high-profile ones. You could say Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey is an original movie. That's going to make $1 billion next year. So there's still a few of them. It's not like there's no original movies out there. It just happens to be that these kind of sequels, especially when they're for a 4-quadrant audience, they tend to do really, really well. John, how much do you think the marketing campaign for this movie mattered? Like, did you really see it everywhere and anywhere, or are you surprised that they spend that much money marketing this movie?
No, I mean, I saw tons of trailers for it. I saw quite a bit of merch, but it's just like it's clear that they were definitely like pushing for this to be a hit. I mean, they haven't really had a ton of hits across their many studios this year.
Yeah.
It's just I mean, they had Lilo and Stitch, but then they also the live action remake, and then they also had Snow White, they had Elio, they had
I mean, they've got Hopper coming next year, which
I mean,
not got a lot of buzz behind
any
it.
of the Marvel movies, they were all bombs or barely made
Yeah.
a profit. The first one, technically, that was like a win for them outside of Lilo and Stitch was Predator Badlands because they own
Yeah.
Fox. So that was
Well, and that's
technically
still
their
making
first,
money. Yeah.
that was their first major win, and now
The biggest movie in that
in terms of the
franchise.
animation side of things, this is their first real win.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I hate Disney with every fiber of my being, but like, congrats, I guess. I mean, they made a great movie. I still paid to see it, so who's the real loser here? But you know,
yeah, no, fair enough. And Enterprising, you're saying they only want apolitical four quadrant spectacles. Well, the thing is, look, if you're talking about Chinese audiences in particular, I think the politics of, you know, the Western Hemisphere, as it were, don't always really land very well in China for probably obvious reasons to most people. Plus, also in general, I don't think a lot of people want to go to the movies and be, you know, there to watch movies that are shoving political messaging in their face. That's just, I mean, there's always a place for that, sure. Like a lot of people talk about one battle after another being a very politically charged movie, or the movie last year, Civil War, was obviously a very politically charged movie. There's always going to be room for those kind of films. I just think, like, when it comes down to those movies where you just want to go in there and have fun, turn off your brain, get away from the world around you, most of us don't want it to be something like that. And I don't blame you. Like, you just want to get away from the world. Like, and the world that we live in right now is very politically charged. And this movie still has some great messaging. It's just they do it in a way that Pixar has done so well over the years, and obviously Disney and Pixar, you know, they're sister entities on the animation side of things, and you could see the messaging around, again, like you said, John, it wasn't anything revolutionary in terms of just, you know, like it's about it's just not being discriminatory of people of other races, except you're talking about animals here, and prejudice and those kind of messages, and it's done in a way that's very allegorical and a couple of steps removed from, you know, like doing it in a live action movie, or like doing, I don't know, it's not like Jungle Fever. You're not watching Jungle Fever from Spike Lee, right? It's not that. It's a few steps removed from that. But like, if you really boil down the core message of the movie, and it has similarities on that front. Although, again, those two are very different movies. I'm just trying to draw a very surface level comparison. The idea that, you know, Jungle Fever tries to tackle it on a much more, not necessarily on, like, actually, yes, it is very direct with his messaging. This is also, you know, it's also not necessarily a 4-quadrant movie, but anywho, yeah, Warner Brothers' highest grossing movie this year is Minecraft, and similar. Although I don't know if Minecraft has had as much to say, or I don't know, John, you saw Zootopia 2. Did it have a similar amount to say, or did it just feel like another animated Disney movie?
I mean, yeah. So, you know, I try my best not to engage with Disney, but there's once in a blue moon I do pay to see a movie by them, and I'm adding to the problem, and I'm a piece of shit. So here we are.
Hey, look, it's it's hypocrites all we are. It's the thing where, like, unfortunately, these services and companies have become so ubiquitous in our lives. We can't avoid. You can't just completely stop your interactions with one company in every which aspect of your life, and still expect to be able to live. I mean, you know, now that's a whole another, you know, rabbit hole that we probably shouldn't be going down right now, because it's not related to the topic at hand, which is Zootopia 2. And of course, John, you enjoyed the movie. You reviewed it last week on Friday, and that rocks, like Figure Drawing just said. Let's go on to the next article, because of course the promotion and advertising for this movie didn't just include brands, it also included one of the biggest stars that has been a part of this franchise from the very beginning, Shakira, who, by the way, is looking fantastic as always. It's like she just doesn't age. She's just one of those people, just doesn't age, and she's channeling her inner gazelle for I think this was a Zootopia themed music video that was put out in collaboration with the film. Of course, she had a big chart-topping hit from the first movie. She's got one here. I don't know if this song hit as big as the first movie song did, but yeah, you know what? Continuing on with the marketing of this movie, clearly Disney reached, they checked all the boxes and got to the audiences and met them where they were at. Now, speaking of records, John, let's go through a couple of the records. Deadline had a good article where they kind of put together some of the biggest records that Zootopia 2 broke with this opening weekend. So if you scroll down here, we can walk through a few of them. Of course, we mentioned already the highest global opening to an animated movie of all time. It's the 4th highest opening overall of all time worldwide. It's also the highest global debut of the year. Like China's, even if you count China's Ninja 2, it beat that, which debuted to 431.2 million, mostly out of China. But this was higher. Like it made $560 million, pretty much 559.5. If you look at the exact number, we were sort of rounding up there. And by the way, in being the 4th highest global opening of all time, it's only got 3 Marvel movies ahead of it. Disney owns all 4 of the top 4. Sony technically is Sony, Disney, Spider-Man No Way Home, which has the 3rd spot. You got the 2nd spot with Infinity War. And remember when Avengers Endgame debuted to $1.2 billion in its opening weekend alone? I don't think no movies ever, not even another Avengers movie is going to beat that. Unless they so get it right with Secret Wars, I don't think that gets close.
They fucking won't.
I don't think it gets close. Okay, so continuing on, it's also the highest global opening for an animated sequel ever, ahead of Moana 2's $389.3 million opening. Disney owns entirety of the top 5 in that record. Then, of course, the highest global opening ever for a Walt Disney Animation Studios movie, ahead of Moana 2. Of course, it's also the highest global opening for any animated film in Disney history, and the highest global sequel opening for 2025. And since 2021, the last sequel to open as any higher was Spider-Man No Way Home. Speaking of sequels, of course, it's also the biggest opening weekend increase from the original to the sequel. Like in terms of the opening weekends of the two, it was an increase of 239%. That's huge. Like this is the wet dream of studios. They want a sequel to perform over 200% better than the original movie. That totally justifies you greenlighting a sequel. Kind of like what Warner Brothers probably were hoping for with Joker For All You Do. Did not happen, but here we are, like with Zootopia 2 making it happen. It is the #1 movie globally, domestically, and internationally for the weekend. And believe it or not, that's a rarity for a movie these days to do as well across the board. And of course, China is a big part of that story as well. And then you look at some of the other domestic records, in terms of the 2nd highest Thanksgiving day of all time, the 2nd highest Thanksgiving opening ever, the 3 and the 5 day numbers. It's the 2nd highest Black Friday of all time, making 38.5 million just on Friday alone, which is pretty much the same amount of money it made in China on that Friday. Again, rare to see that happening. And then, there's a bunch more there. I'm not going to go through all of them. But then you look at it in China, this is the 6th highest opening of all time in China amongst all films, both local and non-local. So whether it's a Chinese language film or a Hollywood imported film, it's the 2nd best non-local film of all time in China, outside of course, Avengers Endgame being the one that sits at the very top of the record book. Now, John, we can, go through more of these records, but at this point I think we've gone through all the big ones. You guys can find this article on Deadline if you want to dig through any more of them. But there is one other record in China that I wanted to talk about briefly. If you go to the next article here, John, this is now this movie has now become the first movie since Avengers Endgame to literally come in and rip the doors off a single day box office in China in a way that no movie since Avengers Endgame has done. It made 104 million, I think it was. Like 100 million, it broke the 100 million barrier. It made like 104 million just on the one day, which I believe was a Saturday. And that broke the record that Avengers Endgame had of the highest single day in China, which if you go to the next screen there, in the slideshow, I think the number for Avengers Endgame was 79 million. This did over that. It blew that number out of the water too. It wasn't like it was over that by a few $1 million. It made like 104 million on just Saturday alone. It's also the highest, grossing opening weekend for a MPA movie in 2025, which I don't believe Neja 2 counts as an MPA movie. So the Motion Pictures America, the ones that give the rating. So that's why it's in that category, it ranks higher than Ne Zha 2 because it's not a consideration. But John, you look at all these numbers, it's matching Avengers Endgame in so many categories. It's exceeding them in a couple of categories. It's in the Avengers Spider-Man No Way Home range. I'll just ask one more time. Well, like, what do you think is the ceiling? If you had to put a number on it, I know you were thinking it's probably not going to break the record in terms of like what Inside Out did last year with the highest grossing animated movie minus Ne Zha 2. But like, do you think this movie can make like a 1.5 billion? Like, where would you put your marker? I'm
gonna say 1.2 to 1.5. That's what I'm gonna say.
Okay, got it.
China.
Yeah, don't take a shot every time I say China. Come on. Yeah, China. Anyway, 1.2 to 1.5 wouldn't be bad. Not bad at all. I, for one, think it can reach 1.5, and then at that point, all bets are off. This movie has a lot more momentum coming out of its opening weekend than, of course, Inside Out 2 did. But Inside Out 2 did not have to contend with an Avatar Fire and Ash coming in its way a few weeks down the road. So I think that will matter a lot because this movie has a few weeks to make its money, and then while Avatar won't blow the doors out the box office, it will certainly eat its lunch on opening weekend and then, have a lot of momentum. And of course, Wicked for Good is still out there, Predator Badlands. The Running Man actually did decently well this past weekend as well. So that movie is starting to, feeling the rub from all these other bigger movies as well. So yeah, I mean, will the third Zootopia movie make even more? I don't know. I think it's going to start to plateau at that point, but who knows? Given that the second movie took 10 years to make, maybe it will take another 10 for the third one. So with that, guys, let us know in the comments down below. What do you think about Zootopia 2 and the box office opening, the record-shattering box office opening, what it did in the US and North America and China, and then, of course, worldwide. It is the fourth highest opening weekend of all time, the highest opening weekend for an animated movie of all time, including Ne Zha 2 from earlier this year. Let us know in the comments what you think, and how far do you think this movie will go? How much will Zootopia 2 end up making ultimately at the box office? But with that in mind, we're going to move on to the next story. We've got a couple of big stories today to talk about. This is the second one of the two. And John, let's get into it, shall we? Warner Brothers Discovery. They're in the process of selling themselves off and into the hands of the fourth new ownership in a decade, after the Time Warner era and the Warner Media era under AT&T to the Discovery era now to what might become the Netflix, Comcast, or Paramount Skydance era. And with that in mind, of course, December 1st being the day today when we're doing the show live, was the deadline for a second round of bids, the sweetened offers that Warner Brothers Discovery wanted, because clearly they weren't impressed by what was on offer the first time around. So while the first round of offers were non-binding, from what I hear, this second round of offers, according to Deadline and Bloomberg, they will be binding. So I guess if Warner Brothers accepts whichever offer they got in the second round, then they can enter into what they're speculating would be an exclusive negotiating window, whether it is with Paramount, Comcast, or Netflix. We don't have a ton of details from any of the three companies in terms of what they have had to offer. What they did say in this Deadline article is that the companies, all three of them, the teams that have been working on these offers, they took their time, took advantage of the Thanksgiving weekend, and really dialed in their offers and to try to make sense of what they had to put forward and make sure that their offer was the sweetest of them all. And there is one offer that, according to a Bloomberg report, if you go to the next article, we're quoting this report from Bloomberg and comicbookmovie.com, Netflix might have the best bid on the table, John. And while initially there was reporting that, I think this is from a Variety article from a while ago, they were talking about how they expect the offer from Netflix to be an all-stock offer. However, it looks like, according to Bloomberg, the second round of bids according to the Deadline report, according to Bloomberg, all three of Comcast, Netflix, and Paramount are still in the race. None of them have bowed out. They've all submitted a second round of offers. But apparently Netflix is a little more serious about this than we intended, because initially people were thinking they were in it to just drive up price for somebody like a Paramount. But instead of doing an all-stock offer, they're doing an all-cash offer, John. Are you surprised by this? Like, they're looking to get a bridge loan, and the offer, according to the Bloomberg report, would be in the tens of billions of dollars. And of course, we know Netflix is not interested in the cable network. So if they were to end up winning the bidding war, then Warner Brothers Discovery would still split up like they're planning on doing, and then the TV networks would go away on their own as Discovery Global, and then the rest of Warner Brothers is going to end up under Netflix. How much do you think it changes the game if Netflix are in there with an all-cash offer, especially when you consider that the third offer from Paramount, which was not even part of this official bidding process, already had an 80% all cash portion to it? So I wonder, like, if this was Netflix saying, well, Paramount must be throwing in a lot of cash in this, so if we're going to be serious about this, maybe we need to do that too. And where does that leave Comcast? Like, what are your thoughts on all of this? Who do you think is now the new favorite?
I think we need to nuke Netflix from orbit. I think at this point, because literally, I know people are going to think that this is going to be something else. It's not. The only thing I care about is taking another fucking studio off the table for theatrical release. Like, this isn't even
well, they did say
this isn't just taking a studio off the fucking table like Fox or whatever. This is taking a studio off the fucking table for theatrical, because that once that contract goes up, if they don't find a loophole,
I mean, the current distribution deals with theaters,
fucking Netflix isn't gonna fucking keep that goddamn contract. Ted Sarandos is a fucking asshole, and he's an idiot, because the theatrical is the death of movies. Streaming is the way to go. So that after that contract is up, which goes I think to 2028, is poof, and then we're never going to get a theatrical Warner Brothers film ever again, and it's just the movie industry is just gonna keep getting worse. And this is the point where I say, before it gets better, but I don't think at this point it's going to get better. It's just going to keep getting worse until there is no longer a studio system movie industry. And
hey, Monarch Girl,
this would tank so much shit. This would I pray to God that if I pray to God, I pray to the devil, I pray to the fucking flying spaghetti monster, I pray to fucking Cthulhu that this shit does not fucking happen, because this would ruin the movie industry as we know it, and to a point it would be worse than COVID. This is bad. I agree with Figure Drink. I would prefer Disney to buy fucking Warner Brothers at this point. I'd prefer fucking Paramount. And they were the worst ones for a while. But the fact that, I'd fucking take the Saudi Arabians at this point. They can't ruin it more than Netflix. It's just terrible. And I pray to God this doesn't fucking happen, because this would ruin. And, I think there would be a lot of legality, because we've also been talking about how it's not a monopoly thing. It's it has something to do with certain legal things in regards to, specifics. I don't know what, but I remember us talking about a couple times how it's a lot of insiders and a lot of people who really know what they're fucking talking about. This would fucking ruin a lot of fucking shit for the movie industry.
I remember, I don't think we covered it on the show, but James Cameron was quoted last week saying that Warner Brothers being bought by Netflix would be a quote unquote a disaster. And Ted Sarandos has said before in his own words that theatrical is dead, quote unquote. Literally, that's what he said. But you gotta wonder though, is Netflix beginning to change its tune, right? Because it's one of those things where, we always love a good John rant. But do you think Netflix is changing its tune? Because they're putting the finale of Stranger Things in theaters. They're giving more and more movies a theatrical run. Narnia, the Chronicles of Narnia reboot is going to have a bigger theatrical, a 4-week IMAX exclusive, and then is going to be in theaters before it ends up being on Netflix. The new Knives Out movie, Wake Up Dead Man, had a brief Netflix release, and they've done that with the previous Knives Out movie as well. So do you think Netflix is slowly dipping their toe, and the goal here as we get Warner Brothers, now we are actually doing theatrical? Of course, they'll still do a ton of stuff that goes straight to Netflix, but then you don't buy IP like DC to stick it on Netflix alone, do you? Like, is that the best use of your money? They're gonna spend tens of billions of dollars. Does it really make business sense? I mean, getting a bridge loan, like going into debt when this company, after over a decade of trying to get it, being in the black and being profitable, does it make sense for them to do that? Because I would imagine that would be sort of like a weird way to go about business. Like, and especially if the next few years Warner Brothers slate it continues to be really, really good, and then maybe that might be convincing Netflix, like maybe we should re-up those distribution deals that we have with theatrical, and keep them out there. And then to kind of address the points that Kevin was saying, look, if Paramount loses this bidding war, they will try to merge with somebody. I mean, they have said that, like David Ellison has said that, look, build versus grow. We can absolutely grow with what we have in terms of IP, but we will look at opportunities to, or I think it was build versus buy. But like we have everything we need to build up to where we want to go. But if we will look at every opportunity that makes sense for us to buy our way towards being a bigger company and having a bigger share of the market. So yes, they have the money to spend. I mean, 4 weeks in theaters is, yeah, sure. But I mean, we live in an era where that is actually a decent number. Remember the Fall Guy ended up on streaming like a week after its release because of how badly it flopped last year. So I don't know. All I'm saying is maybe Netflix is changing its tune, and this is their way of entering the theatrical market, because when you think about it, Apple and Amazon have committed to like a dozen or so theatrical movies a year. I don't think it would hurt Netflix all that much, especially once you have the infrastructure of Warner Brothers, who have all the pieces in place to be a theatrical distributor. They are a theatrical distributor. Why not continue to do that and keep that system in place? Because otherwise, why do you have all these people? I mean, are you going to lay them all off? Like, there's entire departments at Warner Brothers that are dedicated to theatrical distribution, home distribution, like home video and all those things. Like, I don't think Netflix will want to kill that completely, at least not from everything we have heard publicly. All that said, I agree with you, John. Ted Sarandos has been very critical of the theatrical industry. They clearly don't think that that's the future of Netflix, but maybe it could be a part of their future. Maybe it doesn't need to be the overwhelming, majority. Like it could be a part of the puzzle. It doesn't need to be the piece of the puzzle. Like Netflix all of a sudden won't entirely become a theatrical, friendly company, but maybe it's like Warner Brothers, a division of, or Netflix company, puts movies out in theaters, but then some movies go to HBO Max, some movies go to Netflix. That would be my question. Like, will HBO Max even exist anymore? Like, will they just merge it into Netflix? Because for the longest, I mean, you could just have HBO be HBO, but even then, that's a cable network. So like that, I begin to wonder, will HBO become, like a part of Netflix entirely? Will they want to keep running the traditional HBO broadcast model, like that's part of your cable package or part of your YouTube TV package? That these are all good questions. And again, Kevin Davis saying like what happened with Fox, 20th Century Studios still exist, but they just put out less movies a year. And John, I think you've been worried that might happen here too, that Warner Brothers might still be a thing within Netflix, but they probably won't be putting as many movies out, which might include
not as
DC
many movies
too.
Not those being theatrical and all that. It's just
Oh, Smacky, we're gonna get into Zack Snyder stuff and DCU Daily, don't you worry. But hello, thanks for tuning in. Hit the like button, everybody, while you're watching. We do appreciate that. Skydance doesn't need another merger. Well, they're in the fight. They're in the battle.
Over Netflix, like goddamn.
Because they did say they're gonna keep. They want to put out like 20+ movies a year. So I'm like, at this rate, Paramount Skydance might be the better option because they're actually willing to like scale up on that side of things. Dude, Warner Brothers has been a hot mess because from the moment they tied up with AOL back in the day, I was like, they screwed themselves over, and they've been in a cycle of mergers and acquisitions ever since then. I think we're all interested in seeing how this pans out, because even though this will be the 4th ownership change in Warner Brothers' last 10-year history, just within a decade, the 4th new owner potentially, this particular merger and or acquisition of Warner Brothers will be the most consequential of all of them, because this will, regardless of where they go, like if Comcast buys them, they'd either end up with two studios, aka Universal and Warner Brothers, or they merge the two of them together. So one of the legacy studios that's over 100 years old goes away. So yeah, it's that becomes like, you know, a totally like landscape changing move. Netflix might do something similar. We've been talking about that. We're gonna get to the DCU Batman. Noel, thank you for tuning in. We'll get into that soon. And hello, Mr. Beaten Path. Buy and merge that like button. Yes, you know what? That is a great way of putting it. Please do. We're thinking happy thoughts. We're thinking happy thoughts.
I want to think happy thoughts, but I can't help but be negative. I'm sorry. I just don't want this fucking company to fucking grab.
So, yeah, I think the only way that Warner Brothers survives largely intact the way we think it should, probably even as its own company. Netflix, if they truly stick to their word, maybe, because I know Netflix is getting them because they want the studio lot, they want all the, you know, the people that work for Warner Brothers. They don't have that. They don't have that infrastructure. That's what they're buying in addition to the IP. Paramount is doing something similar. Believe it or not, I think Comcast might be the worst option here by that measure, because they might be the ones who like, we'll sell the lot. We don't need two studio lots. We just need the IP. And we've got a lot of overlap between what we do as with Universal Pictures and what Warner Brothers Pictures do with our marketing departments or distribution departments. So I think of all the picks here, I mean, even with Paramount, you'll have some consolidation because they're not going to need a Paramount marketing department and a Warner Brothers marketing department. All, you know, the HR teams will probably merge. Netflix probably, you know, has the least amount of, you know, efficiencies that they, you know, cost efficiencies that they'll get out of this, because there's not as much synergy, which means that Netflix is buying everything Warner Brothers has because they don't have it, whereas Comcast and Paramount already do have a lot of those things. So yeah, it's hard to pick which one is the best offer right now, but I, for one, if Netflix is that serious about this, I would put my money behind Netflix, because they probably have the easiest access to the dollars to make this happen outside of Paramount. So if ultimately Paramount ain't winning this, then Netflix has probably got a better chance than Comcast. Comcast is firmly the third one on the list here. They are the dark horse in this race. Yes. You know what, Noel? That's exactly what we're going to get to next. We're going to have quick hits coming up. But in the meantime, guys, let us know in the comments down below. What do you think? Of course, we don't know exactly what Comcast and Paramount have put on the table in their second offer, which would be a binding offer if Warner Brothers Discovery's board picks it to move forward into a exclusive negotiating window. We don't quite understand how that process is going to move forward. This is all happening behind the scenes, so all we have to work with are insider reporting and sources from the big major outlets, but it's not like Warner Brothers is telling us this is what's next. But so far, the Bloomberg reports that Netflix's all cash offer in the second round might be the one that turns the tides in their favor. So let us know, who do you think is your best pick for owning Warner Brothers into next year? Is it Comcast? Is it Paramount? Or is it Netflix? And with that, guys, let us know in the comments down below. Hit that like button while you're at it. And we're going to move on to the next thing, which, John, I believe we now have to get into the quick hits. So let's do that, shall we? We got some quick hits coming up, including the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles news. And of course, we're going to talk about all the other things, such as Wile E. Coyote. Remember, John, there was that Looney Tunes movie that got canceled, and then Warner Brothers sold it to this, was it Ketchup Entertainment or something?
Who recently did the release for the day the day the Earth blew up, which was really good, by the way.
Honka honka, Caleb, welcome on into the show. Well, we've got another look at the movie. Here we go. They got Wile E. Coyote right there, and the upcoming Coyote versus Acme movie. It's gonna be fun, according to the director Dave Green, who told Empire. We want to pop that myth and get into his soul. I guess they're gonna flip the narrative on Looney Tunes' villainous Wile E. Coyote, because he's the one who's been done wrong by Acme all these years. So I can't wait to see a more empathetic side of Wile E. Coyote. John, what do you think?
I'm excited for it. Even if the movie sucks, I'm glad that it's, getting released. That's all I want. I want the vision of these guys to actually be seen by people. So even if it sucks, it's still a win.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't know if they made money on that Tom and Jerry movie release, but I hope they make money on this one, in terms of what they paid Warner Brothers to distribute it and what they ultimately ended up making. But hey, I'm gonna go see it because I want to go see it. It's gonna have John Cena in it. He's already in the shot. You can't see him, but then, he's in the movie. So let's keep on rolling. John, speaking of Zootopia 2 taking over the box office, Disney was having fun, especially Disney Studios UK's Instagram account, and they decided to do some Zootopia themed movie posters of other Disney and Disney adjacent movies, such as The Pandalorian and Grogu. Cool. This is the prey instead of This is the way. Coming soon to a theater near you. Armadillo Fire Dash. That's actually really good. Armadillo Fire Dash. I would love to see that movie. Dead Millie and Wolverine.
Why would you? Okay, here's the thing. Why would you need to make it a wolf? A Wolverine is already an animal.
I know, it's right there. It's already, well.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Toy Story 5. Oh, I see what they did there. The Devil Wears Prada, except it's Anne Calthaway and Meryl Sheep. I see what they did there. Okay, I like that. The Incredibles 3. You know what? I wouldn't mind seeing an Incredibles 3. Fangled. Oh, yo, did you go back? It's kind of clever what they did with that. Look, there's one missing because Entangled, she's you get it. It's
literally because Gary gets his fangs snapped out earlier in the movie. That's literally it. So he's
Fangled.
He's only has one fang throughout most of the movie. And then Meowna. Yo, but Meowna sounds like too close to a marijuana than it does to Moana. But I'm down with it. By the way, for this poster, the real life poster, they totally ripped off How to Train Your Dragon. By the way,
they did. Yeah. Fantastic Fur. Prepare for launch. Yep. Wordplay. Fantastic Fur. I like it. I think my favorite one was Armadillo Fire Dash. That's the movie I want to see in a few weeks' time. And The Incredibles 3.
I like how they're like, oh yeah, we have an animal in the title. Let's not use that.
No. Armadillo Fire Dash. Okay. Let's keep on going. This is fun. I like it when they do this, especially from the actual studio account. All right, Justin Lin of the Fast and Furious fame is set to direct the Helldivers video game movie. This is an exclusive from Hollywood Reporter. Gary Doberman, the scribe behind the It and Annabelle horror movies, who wrote the script for the Sony Pictures PlayStation Productions project. John, I have a question. Have you ever played Helldivers, and would you be interested in a Justin Lin directed Helldivers movie?
I don't know how the fuck they're gonna do it, and I can only imagine that people who don't know what Helldivers is, see a trailer or what this is about, automatically go oh, this is fucking alt-right conspiracy shit, when it's just it's all it is. Essentially, Helldivers is just Starship Troopers. That's literally, it's just Starship Troopers. But it's not tongue-in-cheek. It's played for serials. So yeah, it's just, all it is just gonna be a more serious and more bloody and gory Starship Troopers. That is all it's gonna be. But with Justin Lin directing, I mean, he's not a bad director. He did give us the one good modern Star Trek movie, so that's good. But Gary Doberman, he's kind of hit and miss. Sometimes he does some really good stuff, sometimes he doesn't. But I am curious with how this will go about. I'm sure it'll be fun, but I don't think it'll have the tongue-in-cheekness of it. It's mostly played serious, but it still has a tongue-in-cheek vibe to it all. Or it's there is a bit of a wink and a nod, but it's mostly serious. So I think this could be fun. I just feel with Justin Lin directing, it's kind of going to be sanitized, and it's not going to be as gritty as it needs to be. But we'll see. It could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I can't because the main problem with Helldivers is that you're a nameless character. They're like the whole basis of Helldivers is essentially they shit people out and just like, here, go fucking protect Super Earth. Go do it. And the thing is, there's not like a character you care about because like you die, like so many people die so easily that it's just like, I can't imagine like how like a character-based movie will work. So I feel like it's gonna be like a world like epic, but like I have no idea how they're gonna make this work.
mean,
I'm sure it'll be fun. Sure it'll be better than the fucking Call of Duty movie that's gonna come out. So, you know.
Could it be like Mickey 17 in that way? Like it's just disposable. Except it's not the same.
Yeah,
character,
but it's not. But it's not like the same person every time.
Right.
It's like different people, and they're not clones. It's just like,
Right.
hey, you go do this. So you know, I'm curious. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm not gonna hold my breath if it's.
Yeah.
If
Look,
people say it's not good, I'm like, yeah, I could kind of see that.
PlayStation's productions are expanding their scope, and obviously they want to adapt a lot of their games. So let's see how well this goes. I mean, Sony and PlayStation productions, they're starting to bring their lesser known franchises in, and we're living in a golden age of video game movies. So let's see how that keeps on.
Could have
going.
gotten the
Or if
last
it keeps on
Ronin,
going.
but Paramount doesn't like to give us good, nice things. So you know.
Yeah, true that. We actually will be getting into more
ready
of that
for that
later.
Call of Duty movie. Once they were like, oh yeah, we're not gonna have Steven Spielberg direct and write this. They're like, I'm like, okay, you had one good thing. Now you're getting the dipshit who did the fucking like, who does like the terrorist movies for his entire career. So it's like, all right, cool, great. The biopics and all that shit. Like Peter Berg is a good director, but like, ugh,
Yeah. Hey, look, Enterprising can be looking on the bright side. If Fallout can figure it out, so can Helldivers. There we go. By the way, I'm watching the Patriots really beat the shit out of the Giants on the side. Anyway, sorry. Let's keep on rolling with the quick hits. It's two very different seasons for the Patriots and Giants this year. The Sonic spin-off movie and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live action film. And speaking of the last one, and John, they both got a 2028 release date now. So if you scroll down here, we can walk through the release dates themselves. And we got Tony in the chat joining right now. Hello, Tony. How are you doing? So the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, not the last Ronin movie, is going to be coming out November 17th in 2028. And the next Sonic Universe event film, which is meant to be a spin-off of the Sonic franchise, that's releasing what does it say? December 22nd, 2028. So basically Christmas week. And then the studio has also announced plans to bring Top Gun back to the big screen on May 13th, 2026 in honor of the 40th anniversary. So the original Top Gun movie is going to be playing in... Oh, God, I don't have those with me right now. Okay. Thank you, John. I don't have my aviators, but yeah.
Welcome
so the
to
Top
the
Gun's
danger
back in
zone,
theaters.
ladies and gents. I did bring the glasses, just not the right ones. But
Yeah.
hell yeah. Anyway.
I mean, do you think this is going to be a shadow movie? What do you think this spin-off movie for Sonic is going to be about?
Oh, I can imagine it's probably going to be like a shadow movie. I mean, because they already did Knuckles. I could see them doing Shadow. I could see them doing Tails, like a Tails like prequel. Like, how did he find Sonic on this planet and blah blah blah. It could be one of the new characters that's going to be in Sonic 4. It could be an Amy Rose movie. It could be like maybe Knuckles Chaotix, like Team Chaotix. That could be a lot of fun. Or maybe it's going to be a crossover and it's just going to be Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. That I'd watch that movie.
I would watch that movie too. By the way, I just don't know why they abandoned the last Ronin idea.
Because
Paramount's like,
dumb.
Because like, how many more like family-friendly reboots of the? Because didn't we get like a rebooted TMNT movie like a couple of years ago? It's like
Mutant
I don't know.
Mayhem. It was like
Mutant
okay.
Mayhem. Yeah, and I was like, do a sequel to that. You could improve. It wasn't a bad movie, but anyway. Mario versus Sonic, I don't think it's possible because those are two different studios. But anyway, let's keep on going to the next thing here. Going from Sonic and TMNT to Tomb Raider. John, like I said, we're in the golden age of video game movies and TV shows, and the Tomb Raider reboot, that's going to be a live-action show now instead of a movie, has added rising Brit star Martin Bob Semple in a major role. This is an exclusive from Variety. I wonder who he's going to play, but I don't know. What do you think about this news?
I have no fucking clue who this dude is, and I don't really care about the Tomb Raider movie. You literally had Haley Atwell.
It's a show.
It's a show, whatever. You had Haley Atwell. She was in the animated version. That sucked. You had the chance. Now, like, she's getting too old, and you didn't do that. You got the chick who hasn't had a career since Game of Thrones, except for some shitty X-Men movies. Cool. Great. Awesome.
I think Haley Atwell could still do it. I would totally.
Oh yeah,
that.
I would see until she's 90.
Totally.
I would fucking watch like 90-year-old Tomb Raider, fucking without a doubt, like hands down. Like guys, nobody fucking wants to see Sophie Turner as fucking Lara Croft. Nobody, fucking nobody. Everyone has wanted Haley Atwell for this role for fucking years. She's literally perfect for the role. Not just because of her boobs. I'm just saying she's a really good actress. She can do action movies. She's proven. They know.
Mission Impossible.
They know because they fucking cast her in the animated movie that sucked because it was like, hey, did you know what you do is evil and like everything you do is wrong? It's like, okay, great. And so it's just like, oh, that's fun. But it's like, guys, you're aware that she would be perfect. Stop fucking casting her in animated shit. Give her fucking the goddamn live action.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes more sense, but you know, people are dumb.
Hey, you know what? They're not just gonna need a good script.
Live action Lara Croft, and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
No offense, Mr. Martin Bob Semple. I have no fucking clue who you are, but like, I hope you do a good job, and I hope you make all the money you can. But like, Jesus Christ.
Well, look, they're going to need more than one good script because it's a TV show. So hopefully they'll have at least 8 good scripts. So however many episodes they're going to have. Hello, probably. Hunter Iggy. How are you doing? Yeah, probably 8. You're right. So let's keep on going. Let's keep on rolling here. We got more quickies to get into. Universal taps Dylan Clark to helm the adaptation of his horror short, Portrait of God. Sam Raimi and Jordan Peele are producing in their first collaboration. John... These are some iconic names coming together, at least Jordan Peele and Sam Raimi. Your thoughts on this? Universal, again, expanding into the
Could be awesome. Genre? Could be awesome. You know, I hope it's good. I mean, you have Jordan Peele there, you have Sam Raimi there. They usually their productions that they produce for have not been great so far. I think Sam Raimi, I don't think the last thing he did was 65, but I mean he's hit and miss with what he produces. And then Jordan Peele, last thing he produced was Him, which was apparently not very good. So I'm optimistic, and plus it's a good premise. It's about a woman who like drives herself to insanity because she asks the question, what does God look like? Hence Portrait of God. So what is God?
That is deep.
Need with a portrait. Anyway,
that is deep. I actually wouldn't mind seeing that. I don't know how the horror thing figures into it, but yeah, you know, Jordan Peele, Sam Raimi. I mean, them producing this, obviously, you know, hopefully being guiding hands to Dylan Clark. That would be great. I'd love to see this. And thank you again for the super chat from Just Some Geeky Guy. We're gonna get into Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. But yeah, it looks like you weren't a fan of the comic book. You just finished reading it and you hated it, saying it's so boring and overly wordy. Please make a better film out of it. Well, we hope they do, because we're going to get into some potential test screening reactions for Supergirl later in the show. That's coming up after Quick Hits, so stick around and hit the like button while you guys are at it. But let's keep on rolling here, shall we? We got a few more Quick Hits to go before we get to DCU Daily. Oh, there you go. Is it in there twice? Oh, never mind.
It's
we already talked about this.
Whoops,
it's in there twice. TMNT anyway, coming out in 2028.
If
and
you're
Sonic.
Really excited, here you go. But, you know. Anyway.
Yeah, Jordan Peele does need a win.
Streaming ratings. Welcome to Derry has solid opening on HBO Max. I still need to watch the last 3 episodes, but the first 2 were good. Pretty good. So that was awesome, and I've heard nothing. I mean, I know Pennywise comes back in the episode 5, spoilers, but like I've seen so many memes online that like, you know, it's
we knew it was a very not very well hidden secret at all. Anyway, but yeah, this is not surprising. I mean, the show's been doing really well for HBO Max. I mean, right now that Heated Rivalry show that just dropped is gone viral. So I can't imagine that's not, that's going to be up there on the charts. These Nielsen charts are usually a couple of weeks behind, so I'm sure that's going to chart soon enough. Oh no, Haley Atwell isn't that old. I mean, yeah, if you want to start that's the idea. If you want to start a franchise, even a girl with Haley Atwell today, like a Tomb Raider, you would want to probably cast somebody a little bit younger. But if you're doing just a couple of movies, or maybe just doing one season of a show, I don't mind seeing that. I think most of us would be okay with that. Welcome to Derry. So far, looks good. Also, Stranger Things. I mean, that's doing really well for Netflix, and I'm sure that will be on these charts in a couple of weeks. Because, like I said, these are usually a few weeks behind. Yeah, 43 ain't that old. Come on now. Haley Atwell's gonna do just fine if they did cast her in Tomb Raider, which, right now the role's taken. So anyway, let's keep on rolling here, John. We've got a few more quick hits. The new Harry Potter actor, of course, you got a letter. Remember, we talked about this. Daniel Radcliffe sent a letter of support to, I forgot his name, the new actor, a letter of support to him, and he was like, this is insane. I was going mad looking at this letter, and he got it before they started filming. John, your thoughts on this? Again, just nice. Daniel Radcliffe showing support.
It's cute, nice, awesome. Yeah.
By the way, what is the name? I'm gonna Dominic McLaughlin.
Dominic McLaughlin, yeah.
McLaughlin, there we go. That's the name. I was gonna rue it not remembering that.
And then now we're going back into video game adaptations.
Yes.
God of War, which will inevitably be crap because Ronald D. Moore can't figure out video games because he's a fucking moron. But God of War, okay. Amazon TV series sets Frederick E. O. Toy as to direct first 2 episodes, 2-season order confirmed. Cool, we're gonna get 2 seasons of this garbage. Great. Ronald D. Moore, stick to the Highlands and stick to outer space. You can't do mythology. Get out of here.
What else has he done that you have hated?
I mean, the thing is with Outlander, it ran fucking way too long. Like the last 2 or 3 seasons, I gave up at season 5 or 6. I'm like, I can't fucking watch this shit anymore. For All Mankind, I'm knee deep in season 3. It's very good.
It's really good.
Very well done show. Yes. That's great. I haven't seen Battlestar Galactica. I can't.
You need to. The greatest sci-fi show of all time. Easily.
I know. I need to watch.
And I'm a Stargate fan. That's not even my favorite franchise.
The thing that pissed me off, he's like, I tried to play the game for 10 minutes and I couldn't figure it out, so I fucking threw it out. It's like, you're fucking directing a video game adaptation. The fuck you mean, you fucking idiot?
They're gonna adapt the Norse mythology chapter of the games instead of the Greek chapter, which is BS. Says just some geeky guy. I don't know. We don't know too much about that yet, but look, Frederick E. O. Toy has been he's done a lot of good work in the sci-fi realm, and I think God of War sort of leans into that obviously into the sci-fi fantasy world. So I think he was directing episodes on Foundation, on The Expanse. Like, he's somebody who knows how to handle this material well. So I think this is good news that they've got somebody like him on board. Kind of like we have seen a couple of high-profile names directing Lanterns episodes. And obviously, The Mandalorian had many directors come in, movie directors direct episodes. So this would be good. This would be good to see. But yeah, let's keep on going here. Speaking of Stargate, by the way, Christopher Judge, who was the voice of Kratos in God of War, the games, he should come back as Teal'c in the new Stargate show. Everybody would love to see that. But let's keep on rolling.
Simon Cowell apologizes for being a dick on American Idol. I'm not proud of it. Okay, too little, too late, fucking douchebag. All right. Rage bait named Oxford Word of the Year 2025. Yeah, no shit. Everyone's being a rage baiter nowadays, so fuck all y'all. Anyway,
have you rage baited today, John? Have you
no. Done your? Anyway, New York Casino, more gentrification. Woohoo! New York Casino next to Citi Field approved after years of wrangling Mets owner Steve Cohen to run it. Yeah, I could have fucking told you that, but cool, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna go if I'm going to a Mets game, but I hope the people there enjoy it.
You know what? Like, rage bait being the Oxford Word of the Year, we should have totally done a hot take debate today. That would have been a perfect way to tie it all together. Hey, Justin B. guy prefers to master bait. Thank you. Thank you. He'll be here all day. Okay, but we won't be because that's the end of the quick hits.
He shouldn't be here all day. He should have. Anyway.
That's it for the quick hits. Thank you for watching the news part of the show. Of course, we're not done yet, guys, because we got lots more coming. We've got all sorts of DC
and
news
not
to
just
come.
Geeky Guy after he masturbated today. So
Yeah, everybody else just rage baited, but Geeky Guy prefers to master bait. But anyway, we're gonna move into the DC part of the show. We've got some stuff from James Gunn. We've got a new segment we're calling "What Did Gunn Say?" And we'll talk about that because he had a lot to say over the last few days.
What did Gunn say fucking this week?
Yeah, I feel like that's an overdue segment. We could have been doing this for a year. And then, of course, what did Zack Snyder say? We've got a little bit of that. Some Supergirl
just like your entire
reactions.
life, Caleb. No, I'm just kidding.
So let's get into some DC news because, of course, as always, we've been blessed from the beginning.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see.
Right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all in the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto. Hunka hunka.
All right, it's DC time, as Enterprising just said. We're going to get into a lot of DC news today. I just want to point out, I'm personally excited to talk about what James Gunn said because there's some interesting things that he said, including what he had to say about the Supergirl budget. We'll talk about that and so much more. But John, I want to get your opinion on this. But what is the most exciting thing you want to talk about today? I'm sure it is when Zack Snyder was pitching, the Snyder cut of Justice League to everybody over the weekend.
Yeah, I was excited that Gunn wished his friend a happy birthday. That's what I'm happy because make sure you're there for your friends, all that. Make sure to wish them a happy birthday.
Yep. Batman casting. No, I don't think that's on the list for tonight. We did talk about that the other day, didn't we? Like Tom Brittany is supposedly in the lead. There was reporting around that. But yeah, let's get nuts, as Emo Nerdgle was just saying. So we start with I guess what we're going to be calling the DC quick hits. Remember there was that selfie of Lois and Clark in Batman v Superman. I think it was Batman v Superman, where you see Lois Lane there, of course Amy Adams, and then Henry Cavill's Clark Kent. Zack Snyder of course they did take an actual photo and then put it in a frame for the movie. This is like literally filmmaking 101. I did this in a college short film, like just took a photo just for a short film that I framed it and then used it in the short film itself. It kind of lends a air of like believability to your movie. But yeah, our geek king Henry Cavill, John, your thoughts on this photo from Zack Snyder? He's just throwing them all out there. All the greatest hits.
If I didn't know that this was already in the movie, I would have said this was AI. Like it looks like so fake. Because also the yellow hue, that's like something in a lot of AI images. But the thing is they just their eyes look so dead. Like there's like no emotion. It's just like vacant. And it's just
I almost say that I think Amy Adams looks good. I think she's doing a better job of it in this photo than Henry Cavill.
I don't know. It's just it just looks so fake. It just doesn't look like a real image to me. I don't know. Maybe it's the yellow hue, but like I don't know. It's funny. But I don't know. It just looks so fake. It doesn't look real.
I always thought
like people.
It's not a photo that screams this is a great memory. Let's frame this thing. But again, I don't know if we saw this for more than a few seconds in the movie.
Yeah,
I just
it's
think
just like who gives a shit. They needed to fill some shit up, so it's like, all right, fine, here, go, you do it. This is a fake guy. Honestly, yeah.
Oh my god. Hey, Tony thinks it looks good. Tony thinks it looks good. Am I AI? No, I don't think I am. I mean, if I was, would I tell you, or would I even know if I was AI?
Mine's also Superman and Lois. That was the best.
Yeah. I think a lot of you guys were saying that too. I saw somebody else, Tony said that it was Superman and Lois. I actually kind of I like the Terry Hatcher, Dean Cain, Superman and Lois from back in the day. Obviously, I think it's very much
I
dated
guess you could
for
say
its time.
that relationship was cool as ice.
Okay. Hey, honey, pretend you're my wife. Snyder's gonna pay us. that's Dude, this is, I don't even like whatever the story is, but you can see the Snyder cut BR guy there really loved it. He says my Superman in his comment. Look, I'm okay with it. Again, we're making a bigger deal of this than they actually need to. So take a selfie for the money.
I mean, they are getting paid. So like
yep. Praise. Okay, not in that. I grew up watching that show. Like, I watched the New Adventures of Lois and Clark, or the New Adventures of Superman, Lois and Clark. Like, it was Lois and Clark, the New Adventures of Superman. Like, I can separate the art from the artist in that sense. I don't think Dean Cain is a very good person, especially nowadays. But I thought like that depiction, as far as just the chemistry of that Lois and Clark, like it worked in that show, like in a way that I didn't quite connect to in a lot of other iterations. That's all I'm saying. I'm not defending Dean Cain for anything. I think he's made a lot of very suspect, if not terrible, choices, and his views are, his own, and I do not agree with them.
Oh, hey, Mario Faith Warrior, remember you?
Hello. Yeah, he said hello like a little while ago. He's not as active in the chat, but hello. All right, let's keep on going here. These are meant to be DC quick hits. We got a few more.
I ran out of tissues.
Oh man. Okay. I wish I could
have
like,
more
Wonka
of a box
Vision use
over there. Liz gave me
anyway.
like a gigantic box of tissues for some reason, so I was like, "All right, I'm still using them." She gave me fucking huge ass box. Anyway, next up, oh god, more fucking.
There it is. Look. Hey, it was just yesterday. It was a Sunday, and Zack Snyder figured, you know what? It's time. It's a perfect night. It's a perfect night to watch the black and white cut of Zack Snyder's Justice.
Is it the apocalypse? Then no, it's
Justice
not a perfect
is
night to watch this fucking shitty ass movie.
Justice is gray, John. Turn the lights down. Turn the volume up. Hashtag Justice is gray. Hashtag Snyder cut. And of course, this got all the fans of the Snyder cut. I mean, including the toxic ones. Look, I personally, like, if they ever pay this off, all the stuff they set up in this movie, I would watch it. But I'm not out there campaigning for it. I'm not somebody who's dying to see it. I've moved on. But I know there's a lot of folks out there, a lot being a relative term, the Snyder Bros, as they're colloquially called, who definitely want to have this be that moment. Remember when, I think it was, they were doing a Man of Steel screening, and then Henry Cavill shows up in the live stream, and then they announced the Snyder Cut as the thing. I think everybody who's desperately wants to see that moment repeated thinks this is one of those times. I will say though, what's suspect about this is, while every other photo that Zack Snyder has shared is like one of his photography things, and it's Instagram, and he's getting all of these new subscribers and all that, and he's thankful about that and all those things.
It's fairly decent. Calm down.
But in this instance, this is not a photo that he took with a camera. This is clearly a promotional, like, graphic, for the movie. So is he? I mean, he could just be promoting his own stuff.
That's what the other guy said. Maybe he's starting to eat his own shit. Maybe he's really like starting to buy into all this like cult-like behavior of these people that are just like, all right, they see me as a god. All right, bet I'm a god now. And it's just
I'm your god. Yeah. Promotional horseshit. Okay. Yeah, well, look, we'll see if there's anything else comes of it. I just think this is more, he's just promoting his own work because he's proud of it. So you know what? And as a director, if you're proud of your work, then that's great, because a lot of directors hate the stuff they've worked on and never want to look at it again. So I think, at least psychologically speaking, that means Zack Snyder's in a, to me at least, it comes across like he's in a good headspace, considering how chaotic his life had become and the tragedy in his life while he was working on that movie. The fact that he's able to look back at it now in a more positive light, I think from him on a personal level is a good thing. That's all I'll say. I'm just trying to get the positive out of this, But anyway. Oh, hey, Yash. And Justin B, you have another super chat. DCU Elseworlds Kingdom Come film with Henry Cavill.
Cavill's not quite as old yet. I would say wait like 10, 15 years to have Cavill be like Kingdom Come. Right now, like the perfect one for Kingdom Come, because he technically already did it, is Brandon Routh. I think Brandon Routh is still that like almost perfect age for. I think he's like in his 50s right now. So I think Brandon Routh would be really good for that. Now, not saying Henry Cavill couldn't. I mean, you could always just like put great streaks in his hair, like the actual comic. But for me, I would want someone who's just like a little bit older, a little bit more seasoned for someone to do like a Kingdom Come version. But I mean, sure, Henry Cavill would be awesome. I would like to see Brandon Routh. Hell, I think it would be cool to see Tim Daly or George Newbern be that, since I mean Kevin Conroy was able to be, I mean, very terribly, and they fucked his character in Crisis on Infinite Earths with that, but he managed to be a live action Batman once. So I think Tim Daly or George Newbern definitely deserve a shot.
Yeah. Look, Kingdom Come is not something that I think we're getting anytime soon anyway. No. So whether they go with Henry Cavill or even David Cornsweet eventually, like, it's just, we're not. They're trying to just reestablish Superman, and they've done so this year, and just moving forward with Man of Tomorrow. I don't think they're going to be rushing to do a Kingdom Come movie unless like a Zack Snyder goes to them with an idea and he convinces them that, he's got a really great script. And now we're, getting into really speculation land at that point. But to your point, Tony, yes, I do believe that Zack Snyder gets royalties. I mean, yeah, from the movie. So like promoting his own projects, the more people watch it, therefore he gets more. I don't think that's the driving reason, the single reason why he does that. He's been doing it. I think it's more because he's proud of his work. But I'm sure, he will financially benefit from more people watching the movie. I actually also thought Zack Snyder's Henry Cavill was more hopeful for the little bits we got him in the Justice League movie. But I personally think his best iteration as Clark Kent for Henry Cavill was in Man of Steel. That's my opinion. Like I said, David Cornsweet would have to be in his so it's going to be a while before we get a Kingdom Come story anyway. We're going to get to the Supergirl stuff soon, Noel, don't you worry. And we have already seen Evil Superman in Superman 3, so it's been a long time though. A lot of people don't remember that movie anyway.
Long time without you, my friend. Anyway.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, Justin Lin and all, even though he didn't direct that particular Fast and Furious. But anyway, let's keep on going here. I believe we have now got to the part of the show where we talk about what did Gunn say? So, John, what did Gunn say?
Well, he was talking about the first Superman balloon at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, 1940. He said, "Today I'm grateful for all the fans out there who have supported all of us at DC Studios over the past 3 years. This job is fun in and of itself, telling new stories with some of the world's most iconic characters, but you make it all the better with love, support, laughter, and insights. Thank you." Very nice.
Yeah, I thought this was really nice for him to say, because at the end of the year, like, for him to point out, look, he wouldn't be where he is and have the success he's having without the fans. You can make a great movie and it can still flop. Like, we have seen plenty of examples of that. But yeah, like this journey that DC has been on this year, you can clearly see that the fans have gotten behind the vision that James Gunn and Peter Safran have brought forth. And it's good to see that he's happy and thankful of the fans, because again,
how the fuck does this look like AI? Like, this is like an actual picture that's been posted multiple times. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. By the way, we don't have any Agatha news today, Emo Nerd Girl, but we'll keep an eye out for that. I hope we were talking about this past week on was it Friday? I hope we get a Superman balloon back at the Thanksgiving Day parade.
Yeah,
soon.
that would be awesome.
Yeah. What does the gun say? Ring it. I got that reference. We'll make an intro for that down the road.
Won't. Anyway, let's move the fuck on. So Hunter already mentioned it in the chat, but somebody was saying Forbes. Hey, look, it's Forbes being wrong again.
Yeah.
It says Supergirl has a $200 million budget. Is this true? And James Gunn said right here, and we'll zoom into this. And he says, not even a little bit true. Boom. So this is second strike for Forbes. They were wrong about Superman not being being profitable, and now they were wrong about this. So maybe Forbes does get things wrong.
I mean, look, here's the thing. Half the people who write for Forbes are contributors. They're not even like full-time staff reporters. Them saying that the budget for Supergirl was $200 million. Look, it's suspect that they would give a movie character, like a character like a Supergirl who does not have a ton of pedigree in the theatrical, movie space. Like you look at the last Supergirl movie that they made, most people don't remember that was ever a thing. They wouldn't give that sort of a character a $200 million budget. Not unless there was some, odd reason out there for why this Supergirl movie needed to be a $200 million movie. It's not like Millie Alcock is a A-lister, or I don't think Jason Momoa is collecting a huge paycheck either. So the whole thing about it being a $200 million budget, it just doesn't make any sense. And whether Sean or whoever posted this, whoever's peddling this rumor, James Gunn himself debunked it. $200 million is pretty much Superman territory, but Superman, like you could tell it was a bigger priority. That was the first movie that they made, and the last time they rebooted Superman, Man of Steel had a roughly that kind of budget too, and both of those movies made a profit theatrically. I think by giving Supergirl a $200 million budget, you're firmly putting yourself in a very risky position where chances are this movie might not break $500 million at the box office. Like there's a very, sure, maybe it will be really well received. It'll be a runaway hit, but it's coming out at a time where there'll be a lot of other big movies out, a lot of big franchise movies, a lot of sequels and spinoffs next summer. And I don't think Supergirl will have the staying power that Superman did. And Superman still got outgrossed by F1 this year. Whereas I think Supergirl's box office is going to be probably similar to Fantastic Four, where if it looks at a $500 million probably is a good number. I just don't think it would be financially viable if they made this movie for $200 million and then put like another 100 or so million into marketing, because they're going to market it for around at least $100 million, and then you're looking at a bill of $300 million all in at least. That means you need to make like 500 to 600 million just to break even. That for a couple of guys like James Gunn and Peter Safran, who have been very fiscally responsible with DC so far, to the point they're not made a huge Marvel Studios like intro logo because it would be too expensive. I don't think they would be giving that kind of money. And look, if this movie does really well, like if Supergirl makes $600-700 million, maybe the second movie potentially could be made for $200 million. I just don't think there's any chance that the first one they spent that much money on. And this didn't do a lot of location shooting either. They did a lot of stuff on sound stages and blue screen sets and stuff. Now I know that means a lot of CGI and stuff, but yeah, it's not going to be a situation where we're going to be seeing this movie, needing 200. I don't know where the $200 million would go. Like, John, how would that even make sense? Like, if this were hypothetically a $200 million movie, like, does that mean that Jason Momoa is getting 50 million or something? Like, cause he's the only big name actor in the movie. And even he is not necessarily like you could say maybe he's an A-lister, but I don't know if he's like a proper A-lister, like a Brad Pitt or a Tom Cruise even. He's probably like a A- lister if at best. Like I don't see where that money would have gone. So I'm thinking more 150 at best. Like, what do you think?
I think yeah, I would take a wild guess. So how much did Superman cost again?
I think it was like 220, 225, which is similar to like Man of Steel.
So I think it's gonna be half that.
Yeah.
I think it's like gonna be around like 110 at most. I can't imagine that like they're gonna have this be a lot of money considering everything that's going into it. So yeah.
And look, Forbes has got it wrong before and in recent memory. And like I said, half the people, like, look, with Forbes, if you read something, always look at who wrote the article. Because half the time they write something, it's like a contributor. Oh my God, the traffic outside of New York MetLife Stadium is terrible. I've had to drive through that before on 95. Anyway, sidebar, because the Giants are losing big time, so people are leaving early. But as I was saying, half the time the people that write articles on Forbes about this stuff, they're contributors, they're not full-time reporters, their sources may not be as reliable. So I would be very careful about taking that information to heart. Wonder Woman had a $180 million budget, like Enterprising saying. So at best, I believe this is probably where we're headed. So like you said, John, 100 to 125 million is probably more realistic. Even 150 million budget would not surprise me, considering there's going to be a lot of CGI in this movie. But this movie could easily just be, you know, the Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, like in terms of having a comp, because you're looking at a movie that's going to have a similar cosmic journey, sort of a vibe to it. And I don't remember what the budget for the original Guardians of the Galaxy movie was. Oh, it was $170 million. Okay. Well, you know, Marvel's got money to
Marvel
burn.
has money to spend. DC Warner Brothers does not.
No,
clearly.
they don't.
So,
yeah, they're a little more. And you know what? $170 million back in 2014, they could get away with it because it was the MCU. They were the peak of their powers. Even today, with the DC studios going in the right direction and DCU having some good rapport with the fans, the box office doesn't support that. It's not going to do Zootopia 2 numbers, not even close, right? So I think $150 million budget is probably more realistic. James Gunn's not going to give that information away, but yeah, him saying not even a little bit true clearly goes to show you that $200 million number is way off the mark. So
not for its main star.
Come on. Okay. All right. Why is Gal Gadot catching strays here?
It was fine.
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine. But let's keep on going because we got more in the space with what did Gunn say, John?
Yes. So somebody asked, hello, James Gunn. I'm sure the most requested thing for Batman are the white eyes. But has anyone ever asked for the cowl to be animated like Deadpool or something where he could frown when dealing with villains but have a more welcoming look when he's talking to peers or civilians? James Gunn had this to say. The most requested thing would be the blue and gray. Correct. Then the yellow around the bat, and then the white eyes. But all those things I find less important than the character himself, the writing, and the person who plays him. Maybe so, but people are making it clear what they want to see. Individuals are making clear what they want to see, but even the most requested thing, the blue and gray, is split evenly with people who don't want that. And the other two most requested things are also things just as many people say they don't want to see. So you have to do what's right by the specific film and territory. So, you know, there was kind of more and more about this conversation, but I feel like there are a lot of people that want certain things, and it's just the thing of like you can't please everyone. It's just like it's the aesthetic that like Andy Muschietti wants to go with, whatever he does want to go with. Hopefully it doesn't match the fucking god-awful Ben Affleck suit from The Flash, but like, you know, it's more like the Keaton suit where it was like actually I'm like, oh my god, this is actually a great modernization of this. So exactly. Like we had like a ugly ass black suit for fucking years. Give us God. I want like it took us. Okay, so from 1966, the last time we saw literally there was a 50-year gap from when we got black, when we got like dark colors and gray versus the black, because the first time it was done was Adam West. Adam West on the big screen was the first time we got black, even though it was more purpley blue than gray. Let's say, for the sake of argument, blue and gray. And then we finally got gray again in 2016 with fucking BVS. Like, that's terrible. Because the black suit I will say this, has never looked that great to me. Like, it looked fine for the time. It looked fine with what Tim Burton was doing, with what Joel Schumacher was doing, what Nolan did. It looked fine for all that, but I want to see a mix of stuff. Like, we've gotten, like, Robert Pattinson was kind of that. He kind of had, like, the gray look a little bit, but it was still very, very dark. It almost looked black. So, like, I just want to see, like, a mix of stuff. Whether it's black and gray, I just want to see gray. Like, I want to see I think the gray looks great. Like, the gray, it just looks more aesthetically pleasing. The yellow with the bat, I think that's like, it catches the eye. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I just think that works for the character. The black isn't horrible. I'm not going to be like, oh my God. But don't give us an armored look. That's the only thing I don't want to see, like the Robert Pattinson. I don't want to see the armored look. I'm so sick of the armored look. It's just like, just give us like a nice, clean, like spandex, quote unquote, like look, but don't like make it spandex. Like that's what I want.
But he has said that he's not interested in a campy Batman, and I'm like,
I don't want a campy Batman.
But
I
it's
just
the
want
thinking
the
though.
fucking Zack Snyder was that campy Batman that had black and gray.
No, I hear you, but I'm just like, it's you still the Batman has to be intimidating. Like he's fighting criminals in the streets of Gotham and you know, in the dark of night. So the thinking usually is like this guy needs to physically be imposing. He needs to have the tools to really, you know, get shit done. So that's usually where those decisions come from. I'm like, how else do you make Batman look intimidating in a live action setting where he's meant to be a little more believable and grounded, right? Like, look, we will probably get a different look than what we have gone before, because it's going to need to stand out and stand apart from the Batman from the Robert Pattinson iteration. But blue and gray in live action, I feel like we'll still end up feeling like black and gray, because the blue will need to be a little more muted. It can't be as expressive as it is in the comics for the, you know, the reasons that how they're going to shoot it.
In Justice League, Batman was blue and gray. It was a navy blue,
right?
But it was still blue.
The theatrical version, they sort of like really colored the shit. Like they just upped the saturation way up in that movie. But yes, yes, it was. You're right.
Just saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, by the way, everybody who's watching, thank you so much for tuning in. Hit the like button while you're here. We appreciate it. And get in the comments. You know, all helps the YouTube gods get the show out in front of more people. But the three big things James Gunn pointed out, just to kind of go back on and talk about that for a second. Apparently, according to James Gunn himself, apart from the blue and gray costume for Batman, the yellow around the bat symbol is the next most requested thing, John. How surprised are you that people want to go back to that look? And then James Gunn has said before he doesn't want to do a campier Batman. Now, granted, it's not like the Michael Keaton Batman was campy necessarily, maybe by today's standards, but it was meant to be taken like, you know, a bit more seriously. It was dark and gothic, maybe a little campy, a little comic booky, but do you think it could work? Obviously, we had that logo in The Flash with Michael Keaton returning, but can they pull that off? Because it's not very stealthy if you've got the yellow circle or oval around the logo.
There is like a plausible reason for it that they did make for the comics, is because you're right, it draws the eye. But the thing is, remember, Batman, half of his face is exposed. So what it draws
but the face doesn't reflect.
It draws the gunfire to his chest, because people are going to be looking at a yellow oval on this dark suit. So people are going to shoot at his chest instead of his face, which is exposed. So I'm just saying that's interesting.
I mean, is that if that's the only reason? I don't know if that's as justifiable. I mean, obviously,
justifiable.
Yeah. I see what you did there. But also, James Gunn pointing out, like, after all of those things, it's only the third most wanted thing is the white eyes. And the original question from the fan who was asking James Gunn was about the idea that with Deadpool, the white eyes, or they animate them so that they help with the expressive nature of Deadpool's face. But James Gunn is like, really, I don't know if that applies here with Batman. And we have talked about, dude, we did entire episodes on the whole white eyes for Batman, like going back as far as 2 years ago, from the early days of DCU Daily. Like, do you think having those white eyes in live action actually works? Have you changed your mind about it over time? Like, what do you think?
I don't know. It's just, I agree. No white eyes, and you got to do the trunks. I think trunks is more important for Superman, but Batman, I think it looks a little bit better. But for me, the white eyes is very like, for that, it's just like there's a lot of emotion there. Like Deadpool, he's the merc with the mouth. He doesn't really need the emotional impact of his eyes. You know, he
although it is the movement of the eyes is a part of how he expresses himself. It is a part of it,
but like at the same time,
for comedic effect. But
it's just like eyes just are the windows to the soul. So I feel like that it's more important for Batman to see the eyes. Like it's like the expressive nature. Exactly. Like I don't think it works for Batman or Green Lantern. I think Green Lantern less so because he has most of his face like exposed,
right?
But I just think that I know they try to do like a halfway thing with the movie where it's just like, oh, he has white eyes, but like the irises are like a light gray, and it like you could see the difference, and I don't know what they were trying to do there. But for me, I think I don't like the white eyes. I think people see in the like, because the thing is, in comics and animation, you can be expressive because it's animation. You can be over exaggerated with the expressions. With live action films, you really can't be unless you have the eyes. So that's what I think. I don't know. I just think that it's don't have the white eyes for live action Batman. That's all.
Yeah, and look, we've gotten the white eyes before, but it's been for like a very specific purpose. Like in the Dark Knight, it was the sonar vision.
Yep.
So that it has to be like driven by maybe some kind of in-universe reason, and it worked well for that sequence. And it, for nerds out there who like comic book fans are like, is Batman with the white? And it worked. Like we got the Batman with the white eyes, and it worked really well. But you can also see like that particular vision had its like downsides because he's not seeing the way that he usually would see. Like it's the practicality of it. What's the reason? I think in the comics the white eyes were probably created originally because like drawing eyes is a lot more work and it's a lot harder, and when you're doing it for comics, simply making them white eyes just works better, and it looks good in drawn format in a comic book, but I don't think it works very well in live action for the reasons you said, John.
Oh, it didn't even. I don't think it even worked that well for Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine. It looked weird.
Exactly.
Like for Deadpool, it works because his entire face is covered. So like it works with the overall vibe because like everything else is covered. For Wolverine, you see half of his face. So like him having like these white eyes and then having a normal face for the other half of the mask is disconcerting. It's so
something
weird to me.
Jarring about it. Like it's that uncanny valley, I guess. It's like, I don't know, something doesn't look right. It's because I think it's also like we just as humans, like our perception of good and
uncanny
versus evil.
valley, essentially.
Yeah, like it's that whole, oh hello, you're back, just some kiki guy, just in time. We're talking about some Batman stuff, but it's that whole thing of like I think the good guys, we want to be able to look into their eyes because like that shows that allows us to empathize with them. It's easier to make the bad guys have like white eyes, I think, in that sense, and that's probably what one of the reasons why. But look, for Spider-Man 2, I think what John said, the idea is that his entire costume covers his whole body. So there's nothing, you're not like seeing, his chin and other things. It's with Batman's cowl really only covering part of his face. It just makes more sense to see his eyes. I don't know. There's something unnatural about it in live action. I'm sure all the costume tests that they've done over the years for the very different iterations of the Batman, a lot of them probably tried it and didn't think it would work. But ultimately, James Gunn said, I find it less important than the character himself, the writing, and the person who plays him. So, John, I mean, this is similar to what James Gunn has said about many things before. And I agree with him. You want to go with the version that best fits the story you're trying to tell. So in that sense, it works. Also for Daredevil, it's a little bit different because Daredevil is actually blind
because he can't fucking see. So
exactly.
Like
so it's like there's again an in-universe reason for that. Like it works for that particular character for that reason. James Gunn also said individuals are making clear what they want to see, but even the most requested thing, the blue and the grays, even split evenly with people who don't want that. And the other two most requested things are also things just as many people say they don't want to see. So you have to do what's right by the specific film and story. So again, James Gunn is aware that you're not going to win everybody over no matter what choices you make. So his guiding compass seems to be just, make the best film and story decision possible. Because ultimately you want to make sure that movie is great and the story you're trying to tell, everything all fits together. Hello, Movie Spud. Thank you for joining in. Hit the like button while you're here. John, if I were to ask you, like you are now the director of Batman in the DCU, and they've fired Andy Muschietti.
Oh, thank God.
What decisions would you be making? Would you be doing the yellow around the bat symbol? Would you be doing the blue and the gray or the white eyes?
I would do,
or the blue and the black and the gray.
I would do essentially like a dark blue for like the cowl and the cape. I would do like a light gray for the rest of the suit. I would have trunks. I would have like a yellow utility belt. And then what I would do for the bat symbol is essentially what Rebirth did, where it's essentially a black symbol, but it has like a golden line on the outside. I will say that was a really
it's
good
a little more
decision.
stealthy. Yeah.
So I like that you kind of get best of both worlds, where it's like stealthy, but like you still have that like outline of like if you see that, oh shit, you're fucked.
I like that idea.
So
yep.
Yeah, I love the Rebirth design. Like that was like one of the best modern designs of the character, next to the one they have now. I like the Rebirth one a little bit more, but I like the blue symbol as well, and with the blue cowl and stuff. So I like all that. But I would go for a little bit darker. I would probably go with a black bat symbol, because I think making the black bat symbol blue looks a little bit weird. But yeah, that's what I would go with. Dark cowl and cape. Sorry, dark blue cowl and cape, light gray bodysuit, trunks, black bat symbol with a yellow outline or a gold outline. So
yeah. I mean, and also having multiple suits is definitely a possibility. We have seen many a Batman have multiple suits in the same movie, so I wouldn't mind seeing that either. John, one more thing. If you were to be the one directing the movie, who would you cast as Batman?
Oh, that's a fucking great question.
Hey, D. Cole.
Honestly, I really like Oliver Jackson Cohen. I like Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't know. I think Oliver Jackson Cohen. I would like to see him in the role.
I remember he was like our surprising pick from the Batman fan casting. You guys can go see that on Fancast Fridays. Look up the playlist, and it's one of the first few episodes in the show. And we landed upon him as like an underdog in the beginning. He was just in there, and then like as the show went on, we were like, he's perfect. And he's already like been in a show with Arjuna Arjuna, so I'm like, okay, if she's a Wonder Woman, then it's literally right there in front of your eyes. Like, it works. Hello, Jalen. How are you doing today? Jake Gyllenhaal was also in our fan casting for Fancast Friday. You can go back and check that out. Timothée Chalamet. I just watched the Wonka movie again with Timothée Chalamet. He's definitely the least convincing actor to have played that role. Should we do another Batman fan casting? Maybe. We'll think about it. We're doing great. Hope you're doing great too, Jalen. John, let's move on, because we have a few other things when it comes down to what did Gunn say?
Toby Leonard Moore. I don't even know who that is.
Who is Toby Leonard Moore? See if we can find his IMDb. Toby Leonard Moore. He's an Australian actor. He was Victor in the John Wick movie. Was that the first one? He was James Wesley in Daredevil.
Oh,
he's in Billions.
No, not him. Gross. No, get that dork out of here. No fucking way. Get out of here. No. Fuck no.
Pull up a photo. Because you're just like Toby Leonard Moore. Okay. I guess not.
Like, bruh, fucking hang on a sec.
The guy from Gotham on Fox? Oh, you mean the commissioner?
Look at this fucking dweeb. Really? This fucking dork? Come on, this guy's Batman? No, fuck no. Get the fuck out of here. Look at this guy. Get the fuck out of here. I don't give a fuck if he has the voice. He looks like a fucking dork. I'm more intimidating as Batman. Get that the fuck out of here. Honestly, I could see James Gunn more than this guy. Fuck me. God damn. Don't get me wrong. He's a great actor. He plays villains very well, but like, no. Hell no.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next fucking thing.
Okay.
Speaking of Batman.
Okay. By the way, before we do,
say.
I just wanted to say, before we get to it, there's a lot of you guys watching, not as many likes in the video. We hope you're enjoying the show, so do consider hitting the like button. But anyway, John, you were saying, what did Gunn say? This was more of an in case you missed it situation.
But when James Gunn was asked, people are saying the DCU's Batman Brave and the Bold could release around 2030 to 2031. Are you looking for a release date as late as that? And he said no. So
simply that.
And they did specifically say as late as that because they said
2030 to 31.
They said, would you see this coming out around 2030, 2031? And he said no. Then he's like, oh, it'll come back out later. But the fact that they said as late as that, he said no. So Andy Muschietti, after it, Welcome to Derry is done. Fucking get on your shit. Jesus Christ.
So the question becomes, if it's not 2030, 2031, if it's not as late as that, it's already at the end of 2025. It's not going to be 2026. They've already got a Batman movie coming out in 2027, The Batman Part 2, and Man of Tomorrow. Does that mean we really only have 2028 and 2029 as the two options? Because let's just say they finally finish the script next year and they're able to put into pre-production by late 2026. Do you think that would mean that 2028 is maybe the soonest we'll see it? Like, where would you put that number? Do you think 2028, 2029 is where it's at?
Yeah, I think so. I think that makes sense. I would say 2029 because 2028 Dynamic Duo is set to come out.
Right.
So they might want to, make this its own event, our Batman, own thing. Boom, there we go.
Yeah. Do we want a hood cal for... No, we don't want a hoodie cal for DC Batman. Sorry. No. 2028 for Wonder Woman maybe, and then 2029 for Batman. But at least, look, I think it makes sense. 2028 would be the earliest if you go off of these. Again, just do the math. Like 2030, 2031 seems to be a little too far out. 2026 is not going to be a thing. 2027 is very unlikely. Welcome back, Caleb. So yeah, 2028, 2029 would make sense. We know they've been working on that script and working away at it. So, John, but Just Some Geeky Guy had another question and another super chat. Thank you for that. Saying Bat-Cal, long, medium, or short ears?
Medium.
I actually, you know what? We haven't really seen the long ears in a long time, because I would say maybe the Michael Keaton ones would qualify as long. Like every other one has been medium, right? Like, because even the Nolan to Christian Bale Batman was like medium ears. Like, would you say we have ever seen?
No, I don't think we ever got
the long ones.
When I think of long ears, I think of Justice League Unlimited when they're like fucking like they're like at least like 2 feet high. Like that's what I'm thinking of. Like, and it just looks ugly. Short ears, like for the Ben Affleck one, they look okay, but they look more like cat ears.
It's just I never bought into it. I thought he had better ears when they were a little bit bigger, when he had like the armor suits. I thought I don't want short ears. I never want to see that again. Because he looks like Catman. Like I don't want that.
That's what I'm saying. It looks like a cat.
Yeah. Well, you guys have a lot of opinions on no Cal for Red Robin either. Okay, well, it depends on if you ever get that. The Batman probably will have a part 3, especially if the second one does really well. Batman shows up to take care of Pennywise. I'm ready. Andy, let's fucking go. I don't think we're getting that cameo.
No.
The Arkham Origins Cal is a great template. Do you think do you agree with that? Or is that too?
It's been a while.
Those are a little long.
Played it.
My thing with the long ears are if they do give him really long ears for the Cal,
he can't fucking walk through doors.
Well, but I'm like, if you do it, then why, he needs to use it as a weapon, because I feel like Batman never uses his ears as a weapon. If they're gonna be that tall, like long and sharp, like he needs to be able to like just like literally like use that as a weapon, like ram some.
Kind of like how the bat nipples should have like shot like pellets or something. Like,
no, not at all like that, but not at all like that whatsoever. The Keaton size, I think the Keaton bat cowl ears were a good size. I would like to go back to that maybe. Like, I think that was a good proportion. Hello, Swag fan. How are you doing? Welcome back. Yeah, Catman. The Batman cowl in the Snyderverse was like Owlman from the Watchmen movie that he did. I felt like he just loved that design so much, he sort of just added that to the Batman. Because I don't think we have seen that iteration, like those ears that short in any Batman comic either. So, anyway, weapon ears. No, like I think it would make sense. it would it would totally, in a fight, like when you were fighting like 8 guys at once, you want to be able to use like everything that you've got. So like, why not? Anyway, I think we can talk about this all day. Ultimately, we'll get to find out. It's going to be one of the big reveals, as is for every Batman, what the costume looks like. Does he have tall ears, short ears? Is he going to have the yellow around the logo, the yellow utility belt, and all that stuff? Like blue and gray. You know, we'll find out.
Anyway, the most exciting news we got all day is Stephen Blackheart's birthday today. Hey. Happy birthday, Stephen Blackheart. And every person should have a best friend. Over 30 years, I'm lucky enough to have Stephen Blackheart. Happy birthday, buddy. Love you. So here he is, this aka Sidney Happerson. He's been, I think he's appeared in either the vast majority or all of James Gunn's films. So that's something.
Yeah, they've been friends for a long time. Like James Gunn is one of those guys who's been working with these actors for years.
Here he is in Super. At least I think this is Super.
Mm-hmm. And you see, of course, Kevin Bacon and Yondu in the middle. Why am I forgetting his name right now? Who plays Yondu? Come on,
Michael Rooker.
Michael Rooker. There you go. Like longtime collaborators. And yeah, it's good. Like he posted a bunch of other photos too. It's just good to see that James Gunn is one of those directors who works with the same set of actors and has been working with his
Michael Rooker. Just like it looks like he just does not fucking want to be there. Like Karen Gillan.
No, but he never knows what. I think Liz mentioned it, right? Like
he just was like, "Fucking just shoot me now."
He's like, I don't know when to look at where to look for for the photos. Like when Liz saw Michael Rooker at one of the Comic Cons, she was like, he's like, tell me where to look. Like he struggles with that, I guess.
Is Jennifer Holland that tiny, or are they like all on like a box or something? Or is she?
I think she's sitting. I think she's sitting and they're standing. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello. Enterprising, happy early birthday to you, December 6th. We will.
Yes, I do remember
all
you
week
mentioning
long.
that.
Yeah. Yep.
But
he's friendly
very
with
nice. And Sidney Happerson.
Wow, these are some old ass photos.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, he has the brown hair, so
yeah, it must be younger back in those days. Happy birthday to Stephen Blackheart. Or Sidney Happerson. He was in Peacemaker. He's probably going to be in Man of Tomorrow. It looks like he's going to be sticking around for a while. So,
and Kumail Nanjiani,
future
Booster Gold. You know,
I mean, and then you got why am I forgetting his name on the far left? He was in the Fula Borg. He was in the Suicide Squad. Javelin. I want to see him be back. I just want him for the bloopers alone.
Like who doesn't love Flula Borg? That guy's fucking awesome. Like I love him. He's great.
Yep. And hello, Watcher. Thanks for joining in.
God,
love that photo.
Really old shit.
Really old shit. But yeah. Yep. Hey, there you go. See, he was in Guardians too.
Yep.
Damn. Yep. Just working together, having fun. James Gunn is bringing all his friends along for the ride. Yeah, I don't know if Kumail Nanjiani is gonna be Booster Gold, but at this point, we just need to be told one way or the other, because yeah, we need to know. Like the video, guys, for the millionth time. I feel like I keep saying that, but still, hit that button. Let's keep on going, John. I think we are out of what did Gunn say though.
Yes,
that was the last of that. But we're gonna move into some Supergirl talk to finish off the show today, because well. Take it with a grain of salt, but apparently we have some first reactions from potential test screenings for Supergirl. We know that James Gunn has said, like he said it like last week, like he's waiting for the latest cuts from Supergirl. But I think it's believable enough that they probably have done some really like inner circle screenings.
Yeah, I remember them mentioning that. Like there was a rumor or
just
something
friends
that
and family.
Maybe confirmed that it was like, oh yeah,
executives.
They've been doing some.
Yeah, so like really just like the people who are very much in the inner circle of like they either work with James Gunn, Peter Safran, are executives at Warner Brothers, or friends and family of those people. So it's not like this is being made available to like the public who could sign up and sign on with NDAs. But still, there are some scoopers who have been getting some insights from these potential screenings. So let's talk about that, shall we? Because this is indeed the first DCU movie that's not directed by James Gunn, the first big DCU project that's not going to have James Gunn as a writer and or director. So, John, there's a couple of insights in this article. Let's scroll down and look through a few of them. It's interesting to see so far we're not heard much. We haven't had a lot of behind the scenes insights outside of some of the set photos from a while back. So it's been a while since we have really heard what's going on with this movie. And while we anticipate getting a trailer this December, which now it is December 1st, it's not likely to be CCXP, but hopefully it's around that time, which is, this weekend, CCXP. Mm-hmm. So if you can scroll down on this page, let's take a look at what some of the reactions are saying. Black Magic Man 90, who's a user on X, he or she or they were saying, I've heard from multiple people in SAG that Supergirl is amazing. I don't know if multiple people from SAG make sense, because it's not like random actors are going in to see these. This is the test screenings so far, from everything we know, are just to see the reactions of the friends and family, kind of like what Marvel has done over the years. They would do friends and family screenings, so they keep the circle as small as possible. And because post-production is going on, these test screenings are really, at this point, just to kind of gauge whether certain things in the current cut of the movie are working. That would be, and this is not me talking about Supergirl specifically. This is usually what happens in all of these big tentpole movies and how they test them out. But yeah, so Daniel Rickman, who's of course a famous scooper, he added on to that saying, I've heard the same as well, that the movie is very good. Okay, that's a pretty generic description. And then another ex-user chimed in, Deadman Boston 8, or Boston B, saying, I know someone who was at a test screening. He said it had a very positive reception and foresees the movie being very well received. Foresees is a very highfalutin word to talk about superhero movie.
I will say, obviously they can't be very specific with this, NDAs and all that. So I can see this being right, but I could also be like, it also kind of seems like wish fulfillment. Like, oh yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Woo, it's gonna be great. But we'll see. Because as we all know, being based on a Tom King story,
Oh, you're pulling up the old super chat there, from Just Some Geeky Guy, who's not a fan of the Supergirl comic.
I know pretty much everyone I know who has read, who I know personally has read it, and I do know Geeky Guy personally. I know him. Someone else who I kind of know. They're not really a friend, but I'm aware of them. But I know them personally. They also hated it, and then one of my best friends who has read pretty much everything Tom King has said it fucking sucks. He's like, she's like, it's so boring. It's so fucking boring. And I'm like, oh yeah, that tracks.
Well, I mean, hey, at least these early fairly generic reactions are saying that the movie is amazing to very good to very well received, which on a spectrum is not half bad, actually. Angelica, hello, how are you doing? Saying in the chat, well, I think Supergirl would change the story based on the book. Yeah, I bet you they're not going to adapt it word for word and page for page. So there will be some changes to what we see in the movie versus what's in the comic book. That's why they call it an adaptation to begin with. I just wonder how significant those changes will be. Right, like the end of the Running Man, I think, is a little bit different than the book from Stephen King. We have seen the Hunger Games do similar things. So movies have done it many a time.
Yes, but I can't imagine they're actually gonna do that in the fucking movie. That would kill off the movie. No way. No fucking way would they do that. So
Yeah, I do hope that Lobo adds in the fun, because I don't think he's going to be in a lot of the movie, but hopefully he'll light up the
main
movie
man.
When he's in there.
Gonna rock it.
Oh, there's a report about Steve Trevor going around being in Man of Tomorrow. I will see if I can dig that up and bring that into the show and see if
they also said Wonder Woman's going to be in it because of that casting, and I'm like, I don't know if I believe that.
It could be anybody, really. It could easily be a Wonder Woman the way they're describing it, but it could be anybody else too. So we'll talk about the Steve Trevor story if there's any veracity to it. We'll have to do some more research on it. But I mean, look, Woman of Tomorrow, it's the next. Well, they're not really. I think they got rid of the Woman of Tomorrow part of the name, so just Supergirl. It's coming out in a few months' time. we hope that the trailer's coming out in a few days, if not weeks' time. Yes. No, I hear you, Justin Kiki. There's reasons why, but I'm just saying, usually movie adaptations make changes along the way. Sometimes they're controversial, sometimes people love it, sometimes it's necessary. And, sometimes it just doesn't work because it might work in the book, or a comic book, but it doesn't, work in a visual medium like a movie or a TV show. So, but we know that there's going to be changes, and we know that it's not going to be word for word, page for page, the same thing. But at the same time, we want it to be a good movie. We talked about it. The budget's probably not 200 million, not even close. James Gunn debunked that. It's in post-production. Craig Gillespie is not somebody who's chronically online like James Gunn, so we haven't really gotten a ton of insights on the movie. John, at this point, I know we talk about it every few days, but if you had to put a number on it or like a date on it, when do you think Supergirl's first teaser trailer will get put out? Because we're now in that territory, like in that time period where if you look at last year, this is around the time we were expecting Superman to put its first trailer out. And lo and behold, a couple of weeks from now last year, we got the trailer. And with CCXP having a big Supergirl booth presence with some interactive elements and potentially some insight on the movie itself, do you think we are kind of getting close to that time, or is it going to be a while before we get a Supergirl trailer?
I think we might get it at CCXP, but they might not. They might delay it for. I don't think we're gonna get it. Well, it depends on what you're. We might get it before Christmas. That I feel like that's a good thought. Like, I mean, Superman came out a month later, and we already got we got it in the middle of December. So I can imagine that December seems like the go-to in terms of all this. So, I could see that. But they also might want to wait. Maybe it's more special effects heavy. They want to get more stuff right. So they might show it at CCXP, maybe a very early version of it, or a different version, and then we'll get a proper version in January. I could also see that happening. So I would say either at the latest mid-January.
Yeah, I'm not entirely convinced. I think getting it before Christmas might be our best bet. But yeah. Okay, so with that in mind, I think we're probably gonna get it sometime in December. Probably I want to say within the next 2 weeks time. Because that would make sense. You put it out in the next couple of weeks' time. You give it its own moment. It doesn't need to run up against the Avengers Endgame trailer when Avatar comes out, and then you tag it along with the Avatar trailer and the Odyssey trailer and everything else that's going to be coming up alongside that new Avatar movie. So that's why I think in the next couple of weeks we're getting the trailer, this first teaser trailer, whatever and however that looks. Hopefully it's good. I don't think it's going to tell us a lot about the movie other than the general sense, just a feeling of what the movie is going to be like. But yeah, so we'll see, which of us is more on the right track. I did see the reporting. I've been finding out now online that according to Comic Book Movie, that Steve Trevor, it looks like, is one of the characters that James Gunn is casting for Man of Tomorrow. Just reacting to this live, John, I don't know if this is because there's a casting description somewhere, or if this is because of the Wonder Woman rumor.
I say this bullshit. I don't believe this.
Yeah, I mean, if I wouldn't be surprised. Is there a non-zero chance this happens? Yes. I mean, but there's also a non-zero chance that Batman could
an absolute certainty. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean, when we're talking, non-0% chances, then Batman could show up, Martian Manhunter could be in the movie, there could be many other things. There's also iterations of Steve Trevor where he is alive in the modern day. He's not just somebody from World War I or World War II. So Chris Pratt as Steve Trevor, maybe. It would make sense if he's a part of Checkmate. Sure, that could work too. That could be the reasoning. It's just without a more concrete source, because even with the Wonder Woman rumor, there was the idea that there's this casting description that they're working from, and so you can speculate based on that information that you are describing somebody who sounds like a Wonder Woman character. But here, I don't know if this is just simply adjacent to that story where they're like, if they have a Wonder Woman, then they probably also have Steve Trevor, which, I mean, look, we had a Batman v Superman, and that did not have Steve Trevor, and it had Wonder Woman in the movie. The closest thing we got to Steve Trevor in that movie was a photo. So yeah, and New 52, exactly, the Watcher, he's alive and part of Checkmate. So since we have a checkmate in the new DCU, maybe that's how he comes into play. It just, again, depends on what version of Steve Trevor to go with, like Enterprising is saying. I, for one, right now, I'm not going to put a lot of stock into this. Like John is saying, he doesn't believe it at all. We'll have to just wait and see if there's any more evidence for this. But this early on, who knows? It may or may not happen. Steve Trevor was a much younger guy in New 52, and Diana did not have to, do the deed with somebody who he possessed the body of. Anyway, so I'll go. That whole situation. Yeah, we're not gonna get into that. Hello, Michael Gutierrez. We're just about ending the show here, but like, thanks for joining in. Hit the like button and be kind and rewind. But we've been here for a couple of hours. It's been a fun show. The first one of the week. We'll be back with the double header tomorrow. Because tomorrow, guys, is going to be Tier List Tuesday. So, for a friendly reminder, there is a poll in the community post section.
So it looks like we might be doing that. A much shorter, unlike the Batsuit episode, this is going to be a much shorter episode. Only 5 films. 4 if you want to be like, let's remove the bad ones. But obviously, we'll be getting into that.
Yeah. Well, it looks like as of right now, if you guys haven't already, go vote for the Tier List Tuesday poll in the community post section. But yeah, it looks like right now we're going to be doing the Tier List Tuesday on Die Hard movies. So right now, Avengers and Lex Luthor actors are coming in a close second. And then Santa Claus movies is not that far behind that. So yeah, go vote if you haven't. Die Hard movies. Tier List Tuesday tomorrow, DCU Daily. When will the Batman actor be revealed for the DCU? That's a good question for James Gunn to answer. If I had to guess, we would probably find out sometime in 2026. I realize that's a very big window of opportunity, but I just don't want to commit to anything less. I don't think they would want to undercut the marketing of Supergirl, so chances are we don't hear about it until after Supergirl's out, if you want to be specific. But with that, John, I believe, as always, we have been blessed at the end and blessed from the beginning. And guys, one more time, hit the like button, hit subscribe if you're new. We are here 5 days a week. Tomorrow we are back with DCU Daily, Tier List Tuesday. Then Wednesday, Thursday we are back with DCU Daily. And then Friday, another DCU Daily, followed by Fancast Friday. So with that, we're going to say good night, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. Hello, Sour Tour. Is Dan vacationing at Themyscira? No, I'm not. I wish I was. It's a great background, though, isn't it? But yeah, we'll talk to you guys another time. Have a great rest of your day, evening, or afternoon. And we'll see you next time on another episode of DCU Daily.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see.
Right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts. Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in the stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka hunka.
And fuck Jeff. Fuck Jeff Snyder, remember? Always, ladies and gents. Fuck Jeff Snyder.